Hello, my name is Michaela Underdahl and I'm Nimble's Community Manager. Thank you so much for joining me today for another Nimble one-on-one webinar. Today we'll be focusing on how to stay organized in Nimble. I will go over the settings in Nimble. I'll make sure that we cover how you can import context and from all the different places that we allow you to do so. And I will also focus on segmentation of contacts, how you can organize them into segments, and how you can use the segments to really stay organized. And I will also go through all the main features in the application that will help you to stay organized. So if you are new to Nimble and you would also want to take a look at more like a walkthrough through the entire application, we have recordings of these sessions on our YouTube channel. We do them every other week. So this is the other week that we actually focus on more specific features inside of Nimble, but we have a lot of recorded sessions about a detailed walkthrough Nimble, about how to set everything up, how to connect everything to Nimble, and so on. And we will also be hosting another session just like that next week. So towards the end of today's session, we'll be sharing a link where you can sign up to attend this walkthrough that I was just talking about. And we will also send you the link in our follow-up email. So before we get started, and especially for those of you that are new to Nimble, I want to summarize what Nimble is. Nimble is an easy to use customer relationship management tool, and it works in both Office 365, it works in G Suite, and it also works everywhere you work. And what do we mean by that is that we've actually done a research quite recently, and we found out that we are really the only CRM that via our browser extensions allows you to work where you're used to work. So we have plugins to inboxes. So if you're Gmail or Outlook user, you can download our plugins and we will help you access and update existing records from inside of your Gmail or Outlook so you can continue to work from inside of your inbox. And you can also create new contact records, schedule any tasks, any follow-up. So this is like a big part of staying organized, because if you are able to access your CRM from the place where you spend most of your time and where you're just used to working, it will make it easier for you to log all the information that needs to be logged and schedule all the follow-ups, and then see the CRM helping you to follow up and follow through with all these things that needs to happen with all your prospects and customers. So we have these plugins to your inbox. Another place where you might be working is doing research on the internet or using social media like LinkedIn or even Facebook for some sort of prospecting. So for this type of work, we have our browser extensions. So they work on all main browsers. Currently, we are on Microsoft Edge, on Chrome, on Firefox, and in the next 2 weeks or so, we will also have this extension again available on Safari. Right now, it's being fixed and updated, so we will be everywhere. So using these extensions will help you use your CRM outside of your CRM. So you don't have to open another tab, log into Nimble, type all the information in. You'll be able to easily pull up the extension, update existing records, and also create new ones. And I'll go over like a detailed demo of how this works a little later in our session. And Nimble also integrates with social media. That we do that. We have a direct integration with Twitter, and we also do that via the browser extension. So you can use it on any social media site. And we also integrate with over 160 software as a service applications. So if you're using MailChimp, QuickBooks, Xero, or anything else really, you can again either use the extension to access your CRM data and update it. And we also have an integration with a company called PySync that specializes in bidirectional data synchronization. And through that integration, you'll be able to keep any of these databases in sync with Nimble. And again, I'll go over it in a little more detail in a second. So I'll also cover these training webinars. So we have the Nimble walkthrough next week. I'll also do a mobile presentation. So you'll see all the features we have on our mobile apps. We have them on Android and also iOS. And the following week, I'll focus on segmenting your database, creating deal in various different places, and also creating and managing pipelines. And we'll also do reporting. And then the week after, we'll do another general Nimble overview. And here we are in Nimble. So when you first log in, you'll probably land on the Today page. But before the Today page will populate with any data, you'll have to make sure that you connect everything that needs to be connected into Nimble. So we have this circle in the top right corner that will always be the place where you can go to access any setting. So when you click on it, in this case, you'll go to networks and imports, and this is where we'll make sure that we connected everything. So we already covered that you can connect any email account to Nimble as long as it's an IMAP email. So you can do it here under emails. You can just click connect email and you select from the provider you have. If you're on Office 365, you are in luck because we recently introduced this one button connector that will allow you to connect your emails. It will allow you to import your Outlook contacts, and also it will connect your calendar. So the integration with G Suite's similar. We don't have one button connector, we have two buttons. So if you're G Suite or Gmail, you'll connect your email here, and then you'll scroll down and you'll connect the calendar here. So that is also very easy. I can show you how it works. So I'll just click connect calendar, select Google Calendar. It will ask me to log into my account, give Nimble the permission to access it. And this is where I can select all the individual calendars that I would like to sync into my account and finish. So this really takes only max a minute to connect everything. So once you connect your email, once you connect your calendars, it's time to import your contacts. And today we are focusing on staying organized. So I want to cover this in a little more detail than I usually do on our walkthrough webinars. So there's several ways how you can bring contacts into Nimble. But before we start talking about them, I want to make sure that we cover one thing, which is before you even start really importing any data into Nimble or any CRM or any application really, and before you start inviting your team, from our experience working with our customers, it really pays off to maybe sit down, have a meeting, and figure out what are all the places where your data currently resides. So are they in spreadsheets, or do you have them in multiple different applications? And if so, then what is your plan to do with these applications? Are you going to keep them, or are you looking for Nimble to replace any of these applications, or do you want to use them in sync? So then, write it down. There's also a way to import your LinkedIn contacts. We currently don't have a direct integration with LinkedIn, meaning you can't just click a magic button and send LinkedIn invites, accept them, or send messages, or see any history of communications you've done on LinkedIn inside of Nimble. LinkedIn doesn't allow that via their API as of now, but you can still go onto LinkedIn, download a CSV file of your LinkedIn connections, and then import it into Nimble. But again, maybe before doing that, you can always open up the CSV file and take a look at it, go through it, and ask yourself, are all these people the people that I really want to have in my CRM database? And how the way Nimble works right now is that all the contacts will be shared across the entire team. So you have to remember two things. First is that when you import the contacts, the entire team will be able to see them. And also the second thing is that when you're importing a contact record into Nimble in any way, and there's a company associated with a contact record, Nimble will actually create two contact records. So we will create one contact record for John that works at Nimble, and we will also create a company contact record for the company called Nimble. So In this case, if you're working with multiple employees from one company, you can still view the information about the company, and then all these individual people will be linked to the company. So the reason why you want to keep this in mind is that on the basic Nimble plan, you get 25,000 contacts. So when you go over that, there's a charge associated with that. And also, if you keep your data clean, it's very likely that everybody will enjoy working with them, and the use of the CRM might be a better success than when you just flood the database with a lot of contacts. And then you'll also be more productive, because many times when our customers just import contacts from all these different places, they end up with a messy database and spending a lot of time figuring out how they can clean it up, segment it, and put labels on them, create custom fields, and really know who needs to be there, who imported these contacts, and what the next steps with them are. So you can import people from LinkedIn, but I would suggest opening it up and maybe deleting the people that you know for sure don't have to be in there. And when you do the import, always apply a tag. So there are two ways how you can organize contacts in Nimble. Using tags, that's probably the easiest way. So again, all contacts are shared across the entire team. So if you have a team of 5 salespeople and all of them have a lot of prospects and customers that they are connected with on LinkedIn, so they will be interested in using the LinkedIn connection import, just make sure that you come up with some sort of naming structure. So before you start importing any contacts, maybe tell your team, hey, so first, the way we'll be naming the tags is that the first thing on the tag will be the name of the platform. So in this case, it will be LinkedIn. And then we will add our initials or our first name or our entire name. So in this case, when people see the list of tags, they'll know who imported these people. When they land on an individual contact or company record, they'll be able to review the tags and know who imported them as well. So this is really important in order to really start well, and also continue to be organized throughout your usage of the CRM. Another place where your data might reside is in various different spreadsheets that any of your team members may have been using until now. So you can basically import any type of spreadsheet into Nimble. You can do it in two ways. You can either review it, and if there are any fields that don't exist in Nimble, you can create them before you import it, or you can use this spreadsheet, download it as a CSV file, and when you click on the CSV import, and there's one more step before, so I want to make sure that I don't forget, we also have saved mappings. So if you're importing from LinkedIn, we will already know what the spreadsheet looks like. So you'll be able to just select LinkedIn here, and we will help you match all the fields. If you're transitioning from different CRM, it's very likely that we also already know what the spreadsheets look like, and will help you map the data and save you a lot of time on the import. If you maybe use a spreadsheet for certain projects, and then you'll be using the spreadsheets on an ongoing basis to update your CRM data, you can always save the mapping. So if it's not straightforward, if not all the columns in the spreadsheet are named exactly as the existing fields in Nimble, this can be really helpful, and you can just save the mappings, and in the future, upon every import, you can just select the saved mapping here. Not using the save mappings here, so I just click next. So as you can see, those columns that look the same as existing fields in Nimble were automatically mapped. So first name is called first name, last name is called last name. Email in Nimble, so my spreadsheet just said email, and Nimble gives me the option to actually specify what type of email it is. So we will always default to the email that you mark as work email in Nimble. So when you're emailing people from Nimble, we will always default to the work email. So you can either make sure that when you're importing a bunch of emails that you name it work email, or you can select it here, email work. For city, we already pre-selected it. Account owner, this is my custom field. So because it's named exactly the same way as I named the custom field in Nimble, it found it, and the same goes for any of my other custom fields. So everything looks good. I could save the mapping here, or I can just continue. And this is another thing that I would suggest reviewing before importing, and it really depends on the type of import you are performing. So one thing to keep in mind is that the way that Nimble merges contacts. So we have unique identifiers that we use to identify existing contacts and make sure that we automatically merge any duplicates and don't mess up your database. So if, let's say, 3 of your team members are importing contacts from various different places and the email on the contact record is the same, we'll automatically merge them. If these 3 team members are using tags to also mark that they are the people that are importing these contacts and also marking from where, all 3 tags will be added to one contact record. So we will automatically merge the duplicates. And that's what we default to. Same with companies. The unique identifier on the company is the URL domain. So if you have nimble.com and 6 people import the same company record, we'll automatically merge it. If you are importing a CSV file with information that contains additional information to an existing contact record, you can also, this is where you can start to pick and choose what you want Nimble to do. So always important to review it to make sure that you don't create any duplicates. So by default, we will just add what's missing in any blank fields. But if you know that you've changed some information, and this is actually very helpful in terms of cleaning up your database. So let's say you've already been with Nimble for a while, and maybe you did the mistake of just flooding your database. Maybe something happened, data got corrupted, and you're now trying to figure out how you can clean it up. So you can easily export even all your contacts from inside of Nimble. You could open it up in the CSV and then fix the information in bulk. So I could fix all the custom fields. I could also create custom fields and then upload the information into the custom fields in bulk. So if you already have the data in Nimble, but now you started using custom fields and you want to update 10,000 records at once, the best way will be to export it. Make sure that you mark the information that you want to change in Nimble in the CSV file. And then here, you would make sure that you tell Nimble to override existing contact fields with the data in the CSV. So whatever we see in the CSV file, we'll just take as the truth and we will update the CRM records. And for people, we use the email as the unique identifier. And that's because we don't want to merge any contact records that are of people that might have a very common names. If you know that there's no 10 John Does, but you know that there might be duplicates, you can tell Nimble to merge on first and last name if there's no email. So if there's email, we'll automatically merge them. We'll know that that's the right person. But then if there's no email, if it's blank, then we'll just make sure that we use first and last name as the identifier. So this is another way how you could clean it up. For companies, like I mentioned, we first look at the domain URL, and you can also tell Nimble to just merge on the company name. And this is where you can apply tags. You can apply as many tags as you want. You can just separate them by commas, and then you would just click finish, and Nimble would start uploading your data. So we covered how you can import data from LinkedIn, how you can bring them in from various different CSV files. We covered how you can bring them in from Office 365. You can also easily import contacts, your Google contacts. So we just click here, and again, always make sure that you apply a tag. So in this case, I would maybe name it Google Contacts and put my name on it, and it will get imported in there. So super easy. Another way to import contacts is using our PieSync integration. So PieSync is a company that we collaborate with. Together we build this in the box integration. So this way we allow our users to connect external applications without having to leave Nimble. So you can either scroll through this very long list, or you can just type in the application that you're using. You would be able to click on the box here, and then a pop-up window will appear on your screen. You will be able to create a free 14-day trial. On the 14-day trial, you will be able to import all your contacts into Nimble for free. So it doesn't matter how many contacts you might have in any of these applications. During the first 14 days, you'll be able to just bring it in for free. So this is very useful for transitioning from different CRMs. It's easier than doing it via a CSV file. Another benefit is that you can set up rules using this integration. So it works on if this, then that. So if there are only certain buckets of people that you're interested in bringing into Nimble, you can set up these rules using PieSync. So the benefit is really saving time and staying more organized and really being able to pick and choose what people you're going to import, as opposed to downloading the entire list and then having to fix it in the spreadsheet and then doing the import of the CSV file. So using the rules is very beneficial for instance, if you're using MailChimp, you could also sync only specific contacts from specific lists. So you could select if a new subscriber gets added to this list, also create contact record on them for Nimble, and also apply this tag or fill in this custom field. So you can really use it to keep your contact information in sync. If you're not interested in syncing anything, if you're really just interested in using PieSync to transition your data from the application on a one at once, so you can definitely use that. Like I said, you can connect as many as many contacts as you want on the free trial, and then you can just let it expire. If you're interested in keeping the applications in sync, there's a limit. So you'll be able to use 2,000 contacts per month per user, and then if you go above that, there would be charge associated with the integration. So you could go on PieSync's website, type in the number of contacts that you would be syncing, and they'll estimate the price for it. But if it's less than 2,000, you can also use multiple apps to sync with Nimble, or you can just import all the contacts when you're getting started on transitioning from a different application. So that's PieSync. Let me just make sure that I didn't skip anything. You can also import a CSV file from Outlook. You can do a vCard import. And these are all the third-party applications that we integrate with via pricing. So once your contacts are in, once they're nicely organized, you will be able to see them on this main page. So under all contacts, you'll be able to see all the contacts. And then we have these little filters. You can also see those that you have marked as important, meaning you check this little star button next to them. And that's another way how you can use Nimble to stay more organized and more focused on only specific groups of people, only your VIPs, only your best customers, only certain journalists, analysts in the industry, and so on. So one way is using the star button to add them to marked as important file, or you can also use this little clock, which is our stay in touch feature, and you can also ask Nimble to help you stay in touch with these people on a regular basis. So you can even do no reminder, or you can set up to help you stay in touch with them on a weekly basis, or you can also do a custom reminder. So that's one way how you can use Nimble to stay on top of things. Another way is to use our segmentation. So you can access our segmentation in two different ways. You can either click Add Segment here, or when you're on the main contacts page, you can click into the search box on top. So once you do that, you'll see these, what we call quick filters. These are just some of the filters that you can use to segment your database. But if you click on Add Filter on this left side, you'll be able to segment on any existing field and also any custom field in Nimble. So I'm going to use some of my custom fields. I'm going to use all the contacts that I am the owner of. And then you can continue to apply more filters to really segment your database down to a group that you want to work with. So you can just continue to add additional filters. You could also do email. So you could do email is not empty. So this way it will only show me the contacts that I have emails for. I could also do birthday. I could do any other custom fields. So I also want to do people that are Nimble users. So we're down to 1. And I could also further refine it by location. So I could even pick this one, and I could pick Los Angeles. So several things you can do once you come up with the searches. Before we cover all the different use cases, I also want to share a little more detail about how you can use the segmentation here. So you can focus on only people or only companies, or you can have Nimble search your entire database for both people and companies. In this case, I only want individuals. And if I wanted to create a more advanced search, I could add a group. So in this group, I could have the name of a tag is, let's say, influencer. I'll update it. And then I can tell Nimble to follow the rules I wanted to follow. So I want this group of people to match all these tags. So in this case, it's just one, and all these fields. Or it can be a tag called this, or any of these. So in this case, it will be everybody that's tagged an influencer, also everybody that the account owner field is set to Michaela, and also everybody that also uses our product. Once you create this search, one thing you can do with people is that you can apply a tag to them. You can also mark them all as important. You can set up a stay in touch reminder with them. You can export them, delete them, and you can also send them a group message. So group messages in Nimble are not meant to replace MailChimp or Constant Contact or any email marketing software that you might be using to nurture your email list. The group messaging in Nimble is designed for you to nurture your existing database on context, update people in bulk about certain things, and really help you save time on retyping the same message over and over again. So it's also sent via your email provider. So that's why the limits are set lower. On the basic Nimble business plan, you get 100 messages per day per user. The clock resets at midnight. If you're interested in more, for additional $10 per month, you can get 200 messages. For additional 20, you could upgrade to up to 300 messages per user per day. So because it's sent from your email provider, the reason why we set the limit so low is that we want to make sure that you'll never get marked as a spammer and blocked out of your Gmail or Outlook or any other email provider. And also, it really is not designed to help you blast a bunch of people. We really want you to use the segmentation first to come up with groups that then you can really tailor the outreach to. And when you do that, when you really take the time to create multiple groups and then outreach to them, we've seen amazing results ourselves. And also we've heard about amazing results from our customers. You'll get much better open rates, response rates, and so on. So you can pick from which email address you want to email these people. You can add a merge tag. So we will automatically grab the first name of the person. You can also send yourself a test message to make sure that everything looks good. If you feel like this message might be useful to you in the future, you want to save time on retyping it, you can save it as a template. You can also select from an existing template. Once you send the message, you can go back to group messages here, and this is where you'll be able to see how people interacted with the message. How many of them opened, how many clicked a link that you may have included, how many didn't read it, how many emails failed, or you can also see how many people unsubscribe, because we give you the option to also include an unsubscribe link. So that's group messaging. When we go back to the segmentation, I'm just going to quickly select all people in Santa Monica. Another feature that can really help you to stay organized is using our saved segments. So let's say you just created a segment of your VIP users in California. You can save it. They will appear on this main page. All these searches will be only visible to you, so they will not show on all your other team members' front page. But soon we will make them available to be shared. So if you want to share them with specific team members, you'll be able to do so in the future. For now, they'll be just visible to you. So you can create as many of these safe searches as you want without worrying that you will mess up the view for any of your colleagues. So once you create these groups, you can always easily access them. You can start those that are most important to you. Then you can easily open it up. When you click on edit segment here, you'll be able to change any of the criteria. Also, these safe segments will always be dynamic. So once you add more contact records into Nimble, every time they will match all the criteria you selected for the search, they will automatically be added. So these safe segments will always be up to date. You can also use the individual segments to, you can copy them basically. So if you're interested in creating lists of all your customers in certain areas, you can do the filters and then open up the segment, click here, make segment copy, and then you'll be able to add or change filters. So if you have all the customers in California, you're still interested in keeping the filter customers, but you want to change it to Arizona, you can just do so here, and then you just rename it. So these are safe segments. I hope I didn't forget about anything important. You can, of course, easily delete them at any point. can go through all these filters here. And I also want to show you a contact record in Nimble. So you'll see all the information about the person, all the tags will be here. All the interactions will be under interactions. If you want to focus on specific interactions, you can use these individual tabs. We also talked about data fields a lot, so I want to show you where they reside. So they'll be on the contact record here. And Nimble allows you to create up to 5 of these custom tabs. So let me show you an example. I created this tab called Programs. So these are all the programs that I personally manage at Nimble. And then once you create the tab, you can create as many individual custom fields under the tab as you want. So in my case, I have one account owner, and it's actually a drop-down menu because these are all the people that help me manage the program, so I can easily select them. They can also be text fields, so you can just copy and paste any text or any links, and they will, if they're website links, they will be hyperlinked. And you can also use separators to create a separate blocks here. So very useful if you're managing different programs. If your company has multiple divisions, each division can have their own tab here. I'll also show you where you can create them. So again, you'll go onto the circle in the top right corner, click on Settings, go to Data Fields on the left side here. It's a third option from the bottom. And in this case, I could click on the existing one and update any of these fields, or I could create a new one. So I could click New tab, I would name it, and then I would have the option to create the individual fields here. So this is where I could pick if I wanted to be a single line text, multi-line text, select box, a separator, or if I wanted to be an address field. So those are custom fields. I also want to show you Activities Listing tab here. And this view is really useful for creating reports and also creating to-do lists. So if you're the manager, if you're the account owner, Activities Listing will be really beneficial to you in terms of finding out how your team is performing. So you can easily select either the entire team or individual team members. And you can easily create a list of all the calls that they performed during a specific time frame. So you can see who they're calling to, how the calls usually end. If there are any notes on there, you can easily access it. You can also configure the table here, just so you can pick just the columns that you want to focus on. So those that are not important to you, you can uncheck them. You can also drag and drop and pin those that you always want to see in the front. So this goes for calls, events, or tasks. So you can see how many calls or how many meetings or how many to-dos any of your team members performed during a specific time period. You can also export it. So then you can email it to somebody or just save it. And like I mentioned, you can configure the table. So depending on the type of report you are creating, you can tell Nimble what is it that you want to focus on. So I think in terms of organization in Nimble and keep it organized, I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. And now I would like to take a few minutes to review your questions. And if there's anything that will be easier for me to demonstrate, I will demonstrate it. So Dennis is asking, my Office 365 account generates multiple open or read emails that I'm tracking. That is an issue. Can you be a little more specific about what it does? So when you use the email tracking in Nimble and then you find the email, or when you go onto our Today page to see that, what does it say? Because usually it will show you a little more details on that. So if you don't mind specifying what exactly it does, and you can also email us directly at care@nimble.com. And in this way, this might actually be better for this case because we'll have our team available to really look into your account. And also if there's a need for any of our engineers to get involved, we can do that via email. Okay, so they're coming up multiple times a day that that it has been opened. Okay, so if you're really sure that people are not opening the messages, so if you suspect that these notifications are incorrect, please describe what's happening at care@nimble.com, and we'll be able to look into your account and fix it for you. Dennis also asking, how would you suggest dividing the individual's data and company data? Share some best practices. So when you're importing your contacts in, let's say, in the CSV file, you could create a company field here, and then really depending on the information you want to put on each record, you would either put the company here, but if you would like to have different information for the individuals and different information for the company in the spreadsheet, we would actually recommend putting it on the separate line. So we would basically import it twice, and we would have different information for the individuals at the company. Well, they would still get associated with the company, and for the company. So if this person is at a different location that the headquarters of the company is, the information can vary. So you would just basically create two lines here, and then Nimble would input the information into the correct either individual fields or the all the company fields. And then once you're reviewing that, so as you can see, this is all the information about the individual, and this is what the company contact record looks like. So then you'll see all the employees that are working for the company. You can easily find the list of them. But in terms of managing the information that goes into these fields, if you're using CSV import, making sure that the information you want to put in each is on separate line. In case you're using any of our browser extensions, so let's say we are on LinkedIn and you are using our browser extension, that you can, Megan will share a link with you. You can download it at nimble.com/widget. Nimble will know what browser you are using. So I'm using Chrome. So let's say I would like to update the information about Mike. I can simply just hover over any name anywhere on the internet. In this case, I'm on LinkedIn. So I could either open up the individual contact record, update any information about the individual, or I could easily go onto the company record and make the edits on the actual company record. So hopefully, Dennis, this answer your question. If you have any specific questions in regards to this, please let me know. Tracy's asking, what is the purpose of automatically adding the company contact when you add an individual, since that information is already included in their work history? So it is basically for the purposes that I just described. Sometimes the information for the company itself is a little different than for the individual people. Many companies have more than one building, so you can have different information under the company record, and then information for individual people under the individual record. So you can also be creating notes for the company, or then you can go onto any of these individual employees and create notes that are specific to this person, so they're not kind of taking up the place under the company record. So if you're dealing with only specific people in the company, it's very useful to have both records. Laura's asking, if you have information you want to remove from a field, can you use the import override existing function? If the CSV field is blank, will it erase all the data in the field? Yes, great question. So if you want to override it, you just change it in the file, and then upon the import, you will tell Nimble that you wanted to override the information. If it's blank, if you have information in the database, but in the spreadsheet, it will be blank. And again, if you select the option for Nimble to override the information, it will override it with the information. In this case, no information. Dave's asking, how can a team best work together during the initial import phase? I would definitely say to have a brainstorming meeting and kind of coming up with a list of all the places where your data is. And once you have the list of all the places where your contacts are, then asking yourself the question of, are these lists clean? Is there anything we can do before we start importing them into Nimble to make sure that we start with like really, really clean data in the CRM? Are we interested in importing LinkedIn databases? If so, for how long have I been using LinkedIn? Do I maybe have 20% of my LinkedIn connections filled with my former from colleagues from different company that, you know, that are not relevant to what I do now? So in this case, maybe coming up with a plan of cleaning the data, maybe asking everybody to spend an hour or two opening it up, cleaning it up, and then once ready for import, also figuring out some sort of a naming structure for the tagging. Or if you decide to use a combination of custom fields, having a meeting about what the custom fields should look like, who is going to be responsible for creating the custom fields, and so on. Dan is asking, how often does Nimble sync the email from Office 365 to Nimble? Same question for calendars. So once you connect your emails, we'll go 90 days back. So we will connect your 90 days of email history. And then I don't know exactly how often it is, but it's not instant. There's some sort of a delay, but I would say it's within minutes max. You can also email our team at care@nimble.com and they'll tell you exactly, but we do that often. I don't know exactly how fast it is, but it's pretty fast. Where am I? Kevin's asking, is there a way to add the website in the contact information by the contact's email and phone number? Yeah, so you can do it either on the contact record. You can click edit here and then fill in any of the fields. So you can add the phone number here, you can add the address and the URL. If you're importing in bulk, of course you can do it. You just name the fields the same way they're named in Nimble. And you can also do it on the extension. So here I am in LinkedIn. Let me just hover over somebody. So here I am on Yvonne. Again, I could just click edit and fill any of the fields from here. Linda's asking, Nimble sync with my Office 365 account. Great, but I noticed that many of my iPhone contacts are not in my Office 365. Even prior to Nimble, I don't know why or how to sync. Is there an easy way to export iPhone contacts and then edit them, remove personal contact, and then add them to Nimble? Yes, so another great question, Linda. I would suggest connecting your phone to your computer, downloading your contacts into a vCard, and then cleaning them up. And once it's clean, you can use the vCard import. You can also import them on the mobile app. So in that case, I worry that we will not give you the option to clean it up prior. you would just sync all of them. So I think best way would probably be saving it as a V card and then importing into Nimble after you clean them up. The new Chrome Edge browser does not have an extension yet. So yeah, we don't know. No, Dennis, not yet. We are not Chrome Edge yet. Barry's asking, think in QBO, QuickBooks Online, I find Nimble Schedule or Nimble Apps. I want to move data from my website quote section into QuickBooks to make sales orders and POs. Nimble Schedule. So if you're interested in using the QuickBooks and Nimble integration, go to Networks and Imports in Nimble, then click on Contacts here, find QuickBooks, and you'll be able to set up the trial for PySync and set up the integration this way. If you have any specific questions, if you want us to guide you through setting it up, please let us know at care@nimble.com. Paris is asking, could you direct me to a video or webinar that goes more into the social media aspect of your product? Okay, so I usually talk about how it works on social media in my overviews that I have on YouTube, but just thinking if I have a specific video about let's see. So I think we created a series of and I actually don't know why I googled this. I'm just going to go and look for it on our blog. So we created a series of blog posts that we are actually planning on updating because we changed the UI of the extension. But when you go on our blog and look for articles called Being Nimble in, you'll be able to find a bunch of articles that will guide you through how you can use Nimble in specific apps. So we should have an article about using Nimble in Facebook. Nimble in Facebook, let's see. Yeah, okay, so yeah, you can go on our site, blog, and then use the search button and then just search for the keyword and you should be able to find it. Basically, once you install the browser plugin, you'll be able to use the extension on any social media site. The way it works is that you can just hover over any name anywhere. Nimble will show you the existing record if you already have them in Nimble, or it will help you create a new one. In this case, it will also help me to merge the duplicates. So I already had the address twice for some reason, so it helped me clean it up. I can open up the existing record here. I could fill in I could see any of our history of interactions. I could create a note, log any activity. I could also send him an email straight from here, could create a deal, and fill up any custom field. I could mark him as important, set up a stay in touch reminder. In this case, I'll do it every 18 days. And if I don't know the person, which is an amazing prospecting tool, I can just go onto comments here and just find somebody random, hover over them, and Nimble will help me create contact records for them. So I could add them to Nimble with one click and do the same, apply any tags and so on. You can also tag multiple contacts at once and apply a tag to them here. And this way, what I just showed you, this is a way how it will work on any other social media site. So depending which one it is that you're using for your business, you can use it anywhere. Laura's asking, are any fields from the company record inherited by employee records? So when you're creating the custom fields, you have the option to decide if you want it to show on all fields or if you want it just on people or company. The fields that we have, the default fields we have in Nimble, they are on both. But if you're creating custom fields, you have the option to either have it on both or people or company only. And we are at the top of the hour. I don't have any other questions. If you think of something else, please email us at care@nimble.com and we'll make sure to help you out. And if you're interested in any of our other webinars, feel free to join me. We'll be sending invite emails. You can also go on our site under resources, demos, and webinars. You can sign up for any of our future webinars. We also host daily onboarding sessions with our customer success representative from 9 a.m. to 9:30 Pacific. So these are shared sessions, so you can just jump on, ask any questions in real time. We'll be able to troubleshoot with you and demonstrate anything on the screen. So resources, demos, and webinars. And if you have any questions, and especially if you have any questions specific to your account, we'll be best able to help you at care@nimble.com. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope that you will have a wonderful rest of your day.